There it is. Hey. We're live. It took a half a second longer than I expected, but welcome everybody. This is a beautiful day. It is a gorgeous day out here in San Diego, and it's our last show of the year, which is perfect for these, I don't know, final...
Oh.
They're always...
Finale.
The finale. Anyway, these grand finalists. That's what I was trying to say. All right, you know what? I'm going to shut up.
Yes.
Intro.
You got to save the...
Practicing Polyamory, real-life perspectives from the imperfect people of polyamory. The mission of the Practicing Polyamory podcast is to provide a platform for all of the real-life, flawed humans that practice polyamory so that we might all learn from one another and grow as a community. Enjoy the show.
All right,
I love your intro.
Welcome.
So
Thank
good.
you. Well, we just barely got started. Welcome everybody to this beautiful day. If you've been here, if you're joining us for the first time, welcome and thank you so much for tuning in. And if you've been here for a while, then you already know we're live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Actually, we're not going to be live for a little while. This is it, folks. This is the end of season 1. Welcome to the end. We'll be back in February of next year, but at least today, if you have any questions for our guests, if you have any questions for me, let us know what it is that you want us to talk about. Otherwise, for the rest of these 3 months off, follow us, find us, at Practicing Polyamory on all social medias. And of course, if you're listening to the podcast, you are a welcome guest to be on the show. We're going to be back in February. We want to hear your stories. None of us are perfect, and we're here to share our imperfect stories, because the more stories we share, the more others see us in themselves, and the more representation we have, the more we can strengthen our community. So go to practicingpolyamory.com and sign up for your spot for next season. All right, introducing our guests. Ladies and gentlemen, hold on to your hats. We are getting the perfect send-off into the Halloween season, here with 2 witchy, kinky, and magical polyam folk, and I can't be more excited to learn more about these 2 amazing humans. Our guests are fire dancers, podcasters, fashion designers, and herbalists, and they're platonic life partners. Our 2 guests have come to learn that every connection we make is unique, and the way that we interact with each person in our lives is equally unique. They believe that, as multifaceted beings, different people bring out different aspects of our personalities, and often those aspects include different ways for love to show up. Our guests have learned that love comes in all forms, and they've had enough of trying to fit into the monogamy box. Now that they've fully embraced their polyamorous identities, they no longer want to limit the way connections naturally form with each individual person. I'm excited to chat with these 2 amazing humans who are joining us today from the Fire Burn Cauldron Bubble podcast. Welcome to the show, Foxy Divine and Luna Hawkins. Woo! Oh, and they've got their potions. Oh my God, this is come on, y'all got to stop.
Sinfully delicious.
Great, this is amazing. Wow, I'm so excited to check.
I'm sorry, I took it too far.
No way, we can't take it too far, man.
We cannot.
No, never.
Wow, this is super exciting. I'm so happy to talk to the both of you. So why don't we start with a little introduction? I gave the background of what you guys gave me on your questionnaire, but platonic life partners, how long have you known each other? When did you decide that you were going to be platonic life partners? I guess, we'll get to that. Why don't we just start with getting to know you? Let's go with Foxy Divine. Tell us a little bit about you.
Same thing, like you said in the thing. I own a magic apothecary inside of the mall, where I do psychic readings. I'm an herbalist. I also do illusion magic with her, like we do disappearing acts, which takes a lot of trust too, because some shit could go wrong. And then fire dancing. Yeah, that's it in a nutshell.
All right, next.
No big deal.
Next up, Luna Hawkins. Tell us about yourself.
Oh, Hawkins. I like that. I'm going to use that later.
So it's
what it was? Did I get that right?
Oh, it's just Luna Hawks. Hawks, like the birds.
Yeah. And see, I messed that up.
No.
60% of the time, it works every time.
Yes. your cues are on
Yeah.
point.
Well done, producer.
Hey.
Luna Hawks, tell us about yourself.
Well, I'm excited to be here and nice to meet you. I'm do a lot of things. I'm an artist in all kinds of ways. And, like you said, we do performance art together. We do a bunch of fire dancing shows and have been getting into illusion magic. So my favorite thing to do is lock him in a box. No.
But then she disappears and she's in the box.
Yes. But, as a result, I get locked in a box. Hey, it's good.
Hey, sometimes chains are involved. Hey.
Hey, we like that kind of thing around here.
Yeah, and I don't know, through like costume making and stuff for our shows, I discovered my brand called Slit Weave, which is basically I like cut and weave a bunch of different clothing, mostly leggings and tops and stuff. And I have an online business that's international fashion design, basically. So that's primarily the things that I do is create clothing and perform with him and hang out with our cats and
Yes.
their polycule.
And our polycule is on point.
I love that's a great start. I love to hear about the polycule. Want to hear specifically about the two of you. Kind of give us a little bit of history about how you met, how you discovered this whole platonic life partnership that you guys got going on, and then we'll talk a little bit about the polycule and how it all shakes out.
Yeah. It's funny because it started off because I used to be a professional clown, and hello, Waldo, and
Skills I have acquired over a very long career.
yes, fuck yes, on point.
On point.
So yeah, I did. It's funny, like one of the first. Wait, was it the festival first, or was it the Y first?
I literally met you the day I got
Yeah, the day she got here at the festival.
Robbie,
Okay,
thanks for
yeah.
joining.
Yeah.
So like there was this festival when she moved here into the area. We live in like bumfuck northern New York, and she was at this festival, and instantly I was like, I was under some medicines that makes it seem like hooping is more whimsical, and I was looking at her hoop, and I was like, that is awesome. And I looked like a borderline creeper, especially because she moves here and some dude's like,
Yep.
And then we didn't see each other for a while. And then the Y.
So what year was
And then
this?
the Y.
What year was this?
2009.
Yeah, 2009.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
And then-
there's history here. Okay.
And then I didn't see her for like a year, but then I seen her at the Y, and like I had my hoop and she had her hoop, and she was like up upon the second balcony. We just like locked eyes as we like both looked in. We're like, you, and like, and then from there she was like, oh, you do clowning? I do hooping. We should do shit together.
Yeah.
I've retired clowning.
He decided that making balloon animals wasn't for him.
No more fucking balloon animals, man.
God.
I can't fucking do it. No way.
Fine by me.
Exactly. I'm not hurt.
Yes. I'm not hurt.
Okay, so you guys met 12
yeah.
years ago. You discover that you have these things sort of in common. Decide to start doing shows together, and so I remember reading that you are serial entrepreneurs. So you've got a bunch of different businesses. Are they all together? Many together?
3.5 of them together.
No, pretty much we do.
Well, it's under. Okay, so we have like fire magic, which is our like fire dancing thing, and we mix the illusion magic disappearing acts, and then we have magic circus, which is like kind of umbrella, but it's like kid shows, stuff like that. And now we're starting motivational speaking and like doing like motivational speaking on like, being able to take control of your life, or like polyamory. We want to teach people like the different levels of poly and do public speaking on poly. And then we have the podcast Fire Burn Cauldron Bubble, to where that's now starting to like snowball. And grow.
Nice.
Well, it's certainly more enjoyable than my average day.
Who is in charge of this? They're fucking awesome.
They are on point today. Well done, producer. That is my brother back there. Follow him everywhere
Dude.
at Business Bros Pod. Okay,
Yeah.
so public speaking and motivational speaking and talking about polyamory, different levels of polyamory. you all are at a platonic love level, but you also have a full polycule. So let's dive into what those relationships look like. Tell me about your relationships.
Well, we can start more like with ours because so basically when I moved here, I moved here for a man, my ex-husband.
Mhm.
So I was married and we just separated this year actually. So I had to always like kind of keep him like at arm's length. So we only honestly this year realized like, oh, okay, we already have all these pieces at play. And then, we just moved in together because it was a perfect time in both of our lives that we needed to move, And so earlier this year, we moved in together and we're like, oh my goodness. So like for years, we've been business partners, best friends. We have a bank account together because of our, because of our business. And we also, now we have a house together. We have cats together. We just bought a couch together.
Yeah, we did.
And then we're like, holy shit, we are like legit like life partners. And, all the decisions that we make like affect each other. And so we realized that, we are actually each other's primary now. And it turned out to be that way. And this is the first time that we've really come to terms with it, like over the past few months, and have realized it fully and are now like communicating fully in that way. Because before, when we were each in our own other monogamous relationships while being friends and business partners, we couldn't really like see that or allow ourselves to go there completely.
Well, because they also like in any way, like any boyfriend that's ever come in my life, and like they'll always be like, I know Jozette comes first. I know I suck your dick, but I know she comes first. And it's like
He ain't lying.
Yes.
So I mean, how does that work? Okay, so you have other relationships, you have other partners, but as life partners, you guys are the two of you are making a lot of decisions together. You talked about potentially you live together, you bought a couch together. I think you guys mentioned before the show talking about buying a house together.
Yeah, we're buying the Magic Mansion. This place that we're in right here.
Yes.
Oh,
Dope.
nice.
It's nice.
You can't see any of it.
You
right
can't
now,
see
but
it, but it's a fucking nice ass house.
That's fantastic. And so to any other partners, the two of you could, I mean, you've become each other's primaries. I'm like trying to wrap my head around it. Like, I get it. I understand it. But I guess I want to ask a question about it. And clearly, like, how does that differ, I guess, from just being best friends who decide to move in together and buy furniture together? How does a platonic life partnership differ from that? Like,
it's when all our partners die, we'll be together, sitting on a rocking chair. It's
Just
like,
smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave.
I think I have a better way to ask the question. Let's say that Jozette, you meet somebody and you decide that you want to nest with this other person, right? Does that mean that you and Foxy Divine are going to break up?
That's interesting.
Yeah, I understand the part of the nesting part.
Yeah. Perhaps
Like,
we won't always nest together.
I think, well, okay, so what we've had this conversation before about having multiple, like, we need our house in Puerto Rico, we need our house fucking here, and then like going in like so her and I have talked about this different thing of like, okay, we're going into these different areas, but always come together. So even if it's like a nest, it's always that ride or die of someone that's always going to be present in your life and like someone that's never going to go away. And that's why it goes into the life partner. That's why I made a joke about like, you know, if she dies or not she dies, if someone else like that we're nesting with dies, we always joke about it's going to be us on rocking chairs, just like shooting the shit. Right. Especially because like in any relationship, like we're going on 12 years now, and it's not just like a deep friendship. It's something that like transcends that. So let's go into like, okay, I'm gonna rebuttal your question right now. How are you going to tell somebody that's in an ace relationship?
Right. No, that's really good. That's a really good point. And it goes into this idea of sex and polyamory and how does it go together? Because a lot
Yeah.
of us polyamorous folks love sex, and a lot of what people think about is poly is just a bunch of orgies and all this stuff happening all the time. But there are asexuals, and there are folks like yourselves who have platonic life partnerships. And as you're talking about it, like I'm thinking of my ex-wife, we still have this really close, intimate bond, like a very, very deep friendship that transcends just friendship. It's like family. And like I could see us calling each other platonic life partners. We've had something, some kind of language in that sense as well. I just but anyway, that's my stuff. For you and this idea of poly being more than sex, like your
I have a question for
relationship is
you.
not defined by sex.
Right. And okay, so I have a question for you and all the listeners right here who are going back and forth. Think of your best friend, whoever that is, visualize them in your head. Will you have a bank account with them? Will you buy a house with them? And those are the big questions. It's like a lot of times in polyamory, and I'm going to go into like that sex part of it, is that they think relationship are purely based on sex. What is a relationship, and what is the different levels of poly? Is it just who you fuck? And it's like there's different forms of love. I don't want to say like hierarchy. It's not like a hierarchy. It's just different. It's like water. It takes these different shapes. And like what we have is like really special. Like we'd like talk to each other. We're like, oh my God, it's hard to like find someone in your life that has that relationship. And, a few months ago, there was like this little thing that happened. And like, we were still saying like, in like, different part of the polycule, but it's like her and I are still domestic partners. And it's really weird to like, we look at each other like, oh my God, we're married, but we're not having sex. I mean, most married couples, but like.
That's good. One less thing.
One less thing.
But yeah.
I get that. As soon as you ask that question, you're think of your best friend. Would you buy a house with them? Would you get a bank account with them? I don't know that everybody would. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know that I would buy a house with my best friend or get a bank account. I love my best friend and
Yeah.
maybe. But
That's
like
not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
exactly. Your ass over there.
Killing it. Yeah. Fucking fire. Fucking fire.
Can we get this guy to work for us? No.
Good.
So with the two of you, that's like what I feel is that transcending part. It's like you are willing to intermingle your lives to that extent.
Yeah, because I think most people like reserve those things for their typically one romantic partner. That's like the one that they want to have that with, and they don't generally think that it's possible with someone that they're not in a full like sexual romantic relationship with. So why do we reserve those things for only our romantic partners? Because maybe you don't have to. And the thing about like the question about maybe will this last forever? Will we want to nest with other people eventually? Yeah, maybe. I mean, I feel like
buy a bigger house, bigger.
or being
multiple houses.
Yeah. Isn't like being polyamorous being open to change too? Like understanding that this is what is right now. This is what works for us all right now, but that could change in the future. And if it does, then we'll have to discuss it and, work out what best path we want to take. And maybe it will be a little bit more separate down the line. But as of right now, we're rolling with this and it's good.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah.
Tomorrow is a mystery, but today is a gift.
There you go. Hitting us with another one. That was perfect. And as you're saying that, I think about it, and I agree with you. The fact is that a lot of what polyamory allows is for two people to be living together at one time and then not living together at another time, but still maintaining the intimacy of their relationship, still maintaining the growth and the overall arc or path of their relationship. Like the connection doesn't die just because you don't live together. So if later on you all decide that you don't want to live together and you want to go live with other partners or whatever, that doesn't diminish your life partnership.
Right. Like I eventually, her and I have talked about like I want kids and stuff like that. Like ultimate goal down the road is like to be in like a throuple relationship, and I want to have kids. Like I come from a family of 9. I would be a really good dad, and like that's something like I look forward to. But like you said, it doesn't diminish what we have, and it doesn't mean we still won't be life partners, and still make these decisions together. And I'm sure our bank account will still be there. We'll still have this house here. We'll still have all of the things that still stand with it.
Yeah.
And when you're old and gray and in rocking chairs, it'll be the two of you.
Yeah.
I'm curious. So when you have a throuple and kids and everything, how is that going to work? Are you going to be a part of their lives?
Probably.
No.
Well, I wouldn't be part of this said throuple.
Oh, not like part of it. No,
yeah.
not like.
But I'd be like Auntie Luna.
Yes.
And actually, just a side note on kids is I know that I don't want to have kids in this life, but being able to, like hang out and interact and be an important person in my other partner's kids'
free
lives
babysitter
is pretty awesome. So
a 10. He's the parent. He knows. I love it. No, it's really cool just to like learn about the way that this would work for the two of you, and it really is like it's just agreements, I guess, right? Like, do you guys have like any? Yeah, actually, probably. I got to assume that you guys have some kind of rules, agreements, some things that you will or won't do to like kind of define your relationship. You want to tell me a little bit about how that works? Maybe not.
No, it's like where to start.
Fine. I'll do it myself.
But yeah,
I'm not gonna do it.
But there's always boundaries in every relationship, and if it's something that will affect him, like we need to discuss it. And sometimes we learn that through like things that happen, and then we're like, oh shit, that wasn't like clear, or like we need to talk about that and put some boundaries in place. And like like this whole podcast says, like the imperfect people of polyamory, it's like we go through these things as we navigate all of our relationships, and we discover like what works for people and what doesn't, and then that helps us define our boundaries. Like currently right now, like one thing we have is like, hey, don't be with anyone who's unvaccinated. Like
that's one thing. But like, and that's one thing we had to talk about when I came home today. I'm like, hey, well, because like my job involves like an herbalist and like as a formulator and like makeup products. I have to know my nose, and like it's not like I got COVID for a while. It's like I can't lose my smell. My smell is my life, and and also my taste, because I make all these different potions and drinks for people, so I have to know how it tastes. So her and I had that conversation the other day, navigating this whole poly thing, and I was like, please do not have anyone unvaccinated here. That's just hard boundary for me. It's like I don't want them in the house. I don't care. I don't want any unvaccinated partners, and I don't want anyone in the house that's unvaccinated, only because like that endangers me. And that's like, I guess another thing you could talk about, like the platonic life partners. And that's like above best friends, because like a best friend could be like, I just appreciate it. And like, then they might like just push you to the side. But as like someone that's as close as we are, we have to have these hard conversations. I don't like it when you do this. That's why we laughed, and like why it's funny. It's like when versus asking like friends and stuff like that, asking a married couple of 12 years, so do you guys have any boundaries? And her and I just like both stare off in the distance for a second. This isn't like a new poly thing. It's like, I don't want you fucking her. I don't want you doing that. And I don't want you doing that. It's like there was a lot to like process in that moment until we were like,
yeah.
Yep.
It's worse. It's so much worse.
It's really funny. Like you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. 12 years now that you two have had this partnership, that you two have had this relationship. But I guess maybe at what point did you realize that it was a platonic life partnership, and how did that conversation happen? Like what were the things that you realized, holy crap, like we're doing this thing like basically for the rest of our lives? Because that's how I hear platonic life partner. Like we're basically going to be together for the rest of our lives in some way, shape, or form. So like let's define this. Or I don't know, did you do anything like that?
I think it's like we always would joke about it because like even like she was married for a long time, and she's seen my various boyfriends, and we always like had that sense of like, oh my God, it's like, because like every decision, the first person when she's sad, it's me. Even and first person I'm sad, it's her, and it's just like always like instantly going to that. And we always like made a joke about it, and she always called me her gay husband. She's like, you're my gay husband, oh my God. And that started like I think like 6 years ago or something like that, like 5 years ago, something like that. She's like, but like joking. And then I would say it was this year, and like just
even recently, like within the past 2 months, we've been talking about that. Even like yesterday, we're like, okay, what does this mean? Like I think it really has to do with commitment and like really committing to each other and communicating and actually like taking boundaries into account, even when it does come to relationships, because we have been just starting to build this polycule
it's
too.
An awesome one.
And so like, for example, like when we talk about boundaries now, like he's gay and I'm bi, and he tends to like guys who are bi because that's just like his type.
My type.
And so like a boundary that we have now is like, okay, if you're like trying to date a guy, like I should, not date them or not try to date them or anything, or, unless we talk about that kind of thing. And like all different dynamics like that are new issues that we're dealing with in our friendship, because we've never been single at all at the same time in the past 12 years until like the last 6 months.
Well, when we went to the fire world, okay, so a funny thing on like the platonic life partner, because we do go to fire dancing conventions all the time, like Flame Festival, Fire Drums, all those different things, Kinetic, and no one would ask me out as a guy, even though they're like, okay, I know there's a little gay vibe in there. He's got some queer in him. But the guys wouldn't talk to me because they're like, we're together. Hey, even if we were together, shouldn't you still ask? Like,
I was totally cock-blocking it.
And like, but then people like didn't approach her and try to hit on her because they thought I was her man, and they're like, well, I guess she's off limits. I think that's when it really started, like the funny surfacing of it.
Yeah, a lot of people want us both too, and so
that's a thing.
Well, that's another thing we have to like look at now, and we're like, are we willing to do that? How does that work?
Well, that's a boundary thing. That's like a thing because like her and I talked like, we would have a threesome together. Like that's not like a problem, but it's like it wouldn't
even
do there.
Still, we don't want to like engage together. Like we literally have no desire.
That's what
to
sandwiches
be sexual
are for.
Together.
I don't think it means what you think it means.
I think it means exactly what you think it means.
And that's why like a lot of people through like the fire world have just been like, like
and now it's COVID and we can't even go to these
exactly. But then that's like the boundary thing exactly. Like, if I say like that's different, like if her and I are just like, yeah, let's hit it. But like if it is someone, and it's not saying like in relationship poly wise, if I'm just like, if I am, developing this relationship, I would just appreciate if you let me develop this first, and then we can talk about these boundaries later. And like that's like the things like we're starting to like navigate right now, because it's imperfect people, and like it's there. I feel like there's too much absolutes in the poly world, right? So it's either A, you're all fucking whores and you're fucking having orgies every Friday night. It's Saturday, but yes, or it's the opposite, to where it's like poly's perfect and better than monogamy, and everything's just great in the poly world and there's no problems. And that's where I appreciate you having this podcast, is it talks about like, we're all navigating this. This is new for us. We know that we're not going back fuck that.
Nice.
But we know that it's hard and it's complex. And especially when you start mixing in the polycule and you have all these like, our web is so like, it's crazy like how everyone connects to each other and it's still how like works together. But then it's like learning the dynamics of that too, to where like her girlfriend and I are like birthday twinsies. And like, she took me to dinner at like this like fancy ass, like $400 a meal kind of thing. And like her and I were trash pandas just because her and I are like kind of besties too, her girlfriend and I.
Nice.
But then that's like our relationship. And then like versus her girlfriend's husband and then like them together in a throuple. But then me and him are like bromance and have like this really cool relationships on different levels. And then even cooler and like how it mixes is that her girlfriend's apprentice is a tattoo artist and her husband is my boyfriend.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So there's basically 6 of us, and we're all. So that's how we see ourselves, kind of as the couple
primaries.
within the.
Right.
Yeah. Sorta.
Yeah.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Constellations.
We don't need roads.
This is cool. This is cool. So, to anybody who is listening right now who has a best friend that they've had a lot of history with, and they're asking themselves, could I be platonic life partner with this person? What would you say?
Can you open a bank account? Okay.
I mean, that could be it. Yeah. That could be it. Can you buy, a house and can you buy it and can you open a bank account together?
Yeah.
Nice.
Well,
Is
it's
that all it
interesting
takes?
because I was.
No.
I mean, I wasn't. Yeah,
not at all.
I think it takes a level of communication, patience, like, you know, just deep love and trust. And sometimes those things vary over the year. Like, you just have to be like willing to work through shit. It's like a marriage. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's
it's you know, you have to make all these like
a commitment
not just
to be there for each other.
Yeah, it's like no matter what I'm going through, like she could be going through some like mom trauma and stuff like that, like mama trauma, or like I'm going through some shit too in my past, or like, you know, who's the first one you go to? And for both of us, when we're going through these traumatic situations in our life or something, we're reliving the past, it's not our partners that we're with. It's not, you know, and my multiple partners with, it's like we're always each other's first to be like, I need to talk about this. I have pain right now. Please help me talk about my pain. And you don't have to give me a solution. You just have to be there. And like, we always sign up for each other to always be there. Even if like we have other marriages or we have, you know, other relationships, we're always going to be there for each other.
Yeah. I believed in you for a long time, okay?
Living on something, Dad?
It's like a requirement to, for like, honestly, for like anyone else that we bring in to our lives as partners, for them to understand that our depth of relationship and for them to accept that like off the bat. Mm-hmm. Because like, I don't know, it would be hard to have like partners who were like jealous of just our relationship.
That's common.
Which happened already.
Every boyfriend I've ever
so like
had.
that's another thing of that's different than just friendship. Like, okay, you don't like my friend, whatever, we can work around this. But it's like, okay, you don't like him, like that's not gonna work.
Right.
You know, not unless you're like on the other side of the country and whatever, I see you once in a while. But like anyone that's like in our lives regularly needs to like be cool with the other person too. Yeah. You know what I mean? So
cool.
I think that is a good one to say, is like, as long as you're cool with like the other, it's like, that's I just thought about that. I didn't even like think about like the concept of just like getting like involved in a partner and be like, you cool with this? If you're not cool with this, that's the problems.
That's it. Yeah. But that's how it is, right? Like it's one of those things. I don't know. The closest thing that I'm thinking of is like when you have kids, like once you have kids, like that's part of the package, and you two are a package deal.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. And when you're right, you're right. And you're always right.
I don't know if I'm right, but that was kind of like how I was understanding it. Like this is one of those things that there's no getting around this. You two are going to be in each other's lives, and if somebody doesn't like that, then they're probably just not going to be a fit.
Yeah.
Dig it.
Yeah.
Dig it.
And we help each other not get in toxic relationships.
Oh yeah,
like,
no, we help each other. Like we help call each other. We're like, you're fucking up. There's something wrong. You do get out of this shit.
You got to cut that person off. No.
I love it. I love it. Foxy, Luna, it has been so much fun chatting with the two of you. I want to give you an opportunity to talk about again the stuff that you have going on, the podcast, the apothecary, the slit weave store, everything you guys got going on. Tell people where they can find you, where they can find out more about you.
Don't we have an episode tonight?
Yeah, we're about to release another episode on our podcast tonight. It's actually about like money magic and like how to infuse magic into your business so that you can grow and have continued success. So that will be live tonight along with a whole bunch of other episodes. So that's our podcast is Fire Burn Cauldron Bubble, and you can listen to that on Spotify or iTunes, all the major platforms. So just check that out. You can also follow us on IG at Fireburn Cauldron Bubble.
Right on the screen, right there.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
And
yeah, I have the Magic Apothecary. You can find me on Instagram under the Magic Apothecary, Magic with a K, Magick. And I do herbal remedies. I do tea blends. I'm an herbalist. So I do medicinal teas, tasty teas. I'm a professional full-time psychic. When I'm not doing this, I'm also doing like psychic intuitive readings.
it's like a great life code.
Kind of got it all going on.
If you're good at something, never do it for free.
Hey,
that's kind of what our podcast is about.
That's actually what the podcast is about.
Nice
episode.
Nice.
Yeah, cool.
And
I do. I just wanted to let everyone know about my fashion business. It's called Slit Weave, so you can find that on Instagram. That's a good spot to check me out. It's slit_weave because I slit shit and then I weave it, and I weaved a lot of magic in it too.
Which we talk about on the podcast.
Yes, and I'm actually about to launch my brand new website. So right now my store is on Etsy, so you can also go on Etsy and look up Slit Weave, and you'll find that there. But I'm going to launch my new website, slitweave.com, on November 11th. And I'm really excited about that with some new cool designs.
And lastly, Fire Magic. That's the last one we have together. That's our illusionist. If you guys want to see like cool ass videos, you can check out our website, firemagic.org, and you can see all of our shows, our illusions, our YouTube. We do funny shit. We just launched one a little while ago about Beetlejuice and us doing like a summoning, and it's like super dark. We do Pokemon ones, all kind of weird, funny videos and performances.
Team Ratchet.
It's not Team Rocket. It's Team Ratchet. It's where she feeds me wine and I'm twerking the whole time while guzzling a bag of wine while I'm slapping it.
Quite entertaining.
Ain't no thing like me except me.
Yes, Trash Panda! We call our polycule we got excited because we call our polycule the Trash Panda polycule. And so like that's why it's like the perfect ending to have a Trash Panda on the screen. Like
nice.
Oh yeah.
Well,
and
actually, I'm going to take that away just a little bit because I wanted to show this off because I personally was impressed and loved it so much. So let me just check this out, everybody.
Oh,
who is
booty.
Bam!
This
that is my store.
Amazing. This is like, look at this stuff. I just absolutely love all of these leggings, all the workings that you've done. This is great. Really cool, fun stuff.
Cool.
Nice.
God, he's killing it.
Yeah.
He is awesome.
Thanks, I
Follow
appreciate
him
it.
once again at Business Bros Pod. That is it. I want to thank you two for hanging out with me today. I want to thank everybody who joined us today. We had quite possibly our largest viewing audience today.
Cool.
From early days, it's probably because we're all costumed up. So, thank you for getting dolled up and hanging out with me today. Thank you, everybody who has tuned in over this past first season. This has been awesome. It has been an honor and a pleasure to serve the community, to learn with the community, to grow with the community. We will be back, like I said, in February of next year. So if you want to be on the show, I would love to chat with you. We're just going to have conversations just like we did today. If you're selling something, I would love to promote the stuff that you're selling. Otherwise, it's just a matter of us getting together and learning from each other, realizing that we're all imperfect humans and, doing our best to build this thing out the best that we can. So once again, thank you, Foxy. Thank you, Luna, Jozette and Seth. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you to our live audience.
Thank you.
Until next season, every single day, till I see you again.
Have a nice day!
Thank you for tuning in to the Practicing Polyamory podcast. Would you or someone in your polycule like to be a guest? Sign up at practicingpolyamory.com and join the conversation. Please support us by subscribing, liking, and following us on social media at Practicing Polia by clicking any of the affiliate links on our website or by subscribing at patreon.com/practicingpolia.